had was busy. When you finally called back, you said that you had sold it.
It's sitting in my garage. The windshield's sitting in my garage.
Okay.
I don't have any windshields but the ones that I do. Are you guys insinuating that I did this to my wife?
I'm not insinuating anything at this point. I'm saying that Justin is saying that there wasn't a windshield order. He didn't talk to you. He hadn't seen you in about a month.
And so I told you, it's been at least a month. Maybe, I'm just guessing a month, but I'm not changing my story. I'm 100%.
I'm not saying you are.
I'm 100%.
I'm just telling you that any time that somebody dies, whether it be a traffic accident, there's obviously a lot of questions, and if we just take the first person, one person's word for it when they're under stress, that's why we're here today, is just to kind of clear things up, try to get answers to some of those other questions. Obviously, as time goes by, more questions come up, and we wouldn't be doing our jobs if we don't look into it thoroughly. So.
And that's why I came when you called. I want to get this prepared.
Sure.
Yeah.
So there are some other. I think that representative of the medical examiner's office spoke to you briefly. Sandy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Know her at all?
I know her daughter.
Okay.
My daughter went to school with her daughter.
Okay. What should tell you about anything they found out?
She didn't say. Well, there's so many people there that. She didn't say a whole. She just. I don't even know if she really said anything. Trying to think of what we talked about. I don't.
Did you mention any injury? What you thought they found out about her?
Did I mention any injury?
No, did Sandy.
She said something about I don't know. She said something about, I don't remember if she did or not. She said something about something to her. To her neck or her head or something, somewhere. She did say something that they were questioning or wondering.
Okay. Do you recall what that was? You said neck and head.
Well, I can't remember if it was her neck or her head. Or lower. I know. She had mentioned something, but it didn't, it didn't mean I wasn't, I guess, concerned or paying attention with it.
Okay.
I honestly didn't think it was going to be anything that would be a back on me I have to say I didn't know how she got or what she got or how bad, extensive it was I remember talking to her about after they got that cleaned up, I seen some spots on her chest, and I mentioned to Sandy, I said I thought maybe that was from me poking, trying to wake her up, trying to get her to respond to me.
Okay.
I remember telling Sandy that.
Okay. And there were some injuries there, so you can explain it.
But I don't remember. She did mention something else, but it wasn't anything that pertained to me, so I didn't even,
What do you mean? It wasn't anything that pertained to you?
That it was partly, when I seen her chest, I kind of figured, I kind of thought that was from me.
And And how are you, when you said, how did that have occurred? That if you did that, what was the mechanism that you
I didn't want to hit her and shake her like, because when you're doing the CPR, and I didn't know if she had a neck or a head or how bad.
Sure.
So I just kept tapping her, trying to get her between compressions, trying to get some kind of a response or something. I didn't want to move her head as much as possible.
Okay.
And so I knew, had a real good idea that was from me. Is what,
On a chest.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I had a real good idea that, and I don't know, she was talking, she did say something else, but it didn't even, and after now that you mentioned, well, maybe it is when I pulled her out of the car, I don't know.
What is?
But she mentioned some other injury that they were wondering about, or somebody had noticed or something. And I don't,
you don't remember what that was?
The only possible way that I could have heard it more was when I was trying to wake her up. That would have been everything, taking her out of the car, but I don't remember how I got her out. I knew she was hurt bad, and I knew that I had to get compressions going, but I don't.
Okay. So, did Barbara have any injuries before the accident?
Not that I know of, no.
Okay.
Maybe just a bruise on her leg or something from moving on, or nothing. I don't think she.
About anything? I haven't been to the doctor recently.
Chiropractor once in a while for the back.
Okay.
But that would have been about it.
Okay. And earlier on, we're just kind of trying to explain maybe what Sandra's bringing up to you. In the car, when we were driving to the hospital, they told me, I asked her where he thought the pipe had hit her. Can you tell me where that is?
Well, I wasn't sure if it got her in the neck or in the head.
Okay.
Because
Where on the head? Because it's a big area.
well, and I didn't actually see her when I was going over. I wasn't looking directly at her. I was going like this, and I don't know if she had put her head down. Is what I don't know. I can't say. If I want to say what I think she would do to go to I don't know which way she would have gone or how or whatever, but I think she would have put her head down.
Okay.
It's just
Where was she bleeding from?
her nose and her mouth. No, not so much her mouth right away until I started doing compressions. And she had a kind of something come up off a little bit off her head, somewhere. And then when I started doing compressions, it seemed like she started bleeding worse. And that's why I called in and she said, no, keep doing them.
Okay.
Because I thought it would be.
So she was mostly bleeding from where? You said her nose first, then her mouth. So was most blood here or this head?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember. I just
Remember where you wiped most of the blood off from?
I cleaned her head, her face area up. Is where I mainly cleaned up.
Did you see any wounds at that point? Where the blood was coming from?
I didn't even. She had I think she had a little cut. I think she had a little cut, kind of in the middle of her forehead. I think. Her hair was all done up for work and stuff, and I don't know what.
maybe something from
And I
somewhere.
don't know for sure if it was here, up farther, or from, I don't, like I say, here was all been up I wiped up, cleaned her up a bit before so I could see her.
Sure. Okay. Did you make any attempts to stop any bleeding, or just make
I didn't.
concerned to see?
I didn't do any. My biggest concern was getting the compressions in.
Sure.
To try. I mean, that's a. It wasn't like it was gushing blood. So I didn't. The thing they always taught us was get the compressions going, keep that blood going, and so that's what I did. I concentrated on that.
Okay.
Were you bleeding a lot?
No,
No. Just had the injury on your hand.
and that wasn't.
You had some on your neck.
That was from. I'm assuming it was from when I was sweating so bad, and I was trying to keep the sweat from running down all over. I'm assuming it was from, I don't know.
By keeping the sweat off, what do you mean?
I had so much sweat around my eyes and down me.
Sure.
And I was trying to keep it off, trying to keep the sweat away from my eyes and stuff
How are you doing that?
with my hand,
Okay.
like between compressions and.
Okay. So you were scratching yourself.
Well, I don't think I scratched myself.
Okay. What do you know how you got the scratches there?
I don't know.
Okay.
It couldn't have been from me. That wouldn't have been from me.
Were they there before that? Did you have scratches on your body before the accident?
No, I had one here,
Okay.
Is it still there?
but nothing. That's just pimple.
Okay. And how about your neck? Can we look at that too?
Yeah, there's
Clean.
no, and I don't,
So we're just trying to figure out kind of what the dynamic inside the vehicle was. So, I don't know if you remember the hospital, we took some pictures of those.
yeah,
And I think
yeah,
that's the other side of your neck.
okay.
And then on your chest. See, they're not there anymore.
Yeah, no, and this one was, I don't know how I got that one, but
You don't know how you got that one?
I don't remember if we were, I don't remember honestly.
If you were what? You started to say if we were.
Well, we've been putting getting tree stands ready and clearing trail and stuff.
Okay. What about these?
I don't know. I honestly can't tell you. I know they're not from me.
Okay.
I
You know, I guess that's, you know they're not from you.
I didn't do it with my hand or like that or,
Okay.
I don't know.
Now that you're not sure how that one happened.
I think I had that before the accident.
Okay.
I think. Because I don't know.
And how did that happen?
I don't know. I honestly don't.
When you first noticed you had that?
When you guys asked for it.
When you took the picture of the hospital?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I get scratches and cuts and
So you didn't notice that you had a scratch there?
no, I didn't know it.
But
No.
you're pretty sure it happened before the accident?
I don't know. I can't say. I'm not going to say. I don't know. I'm not going to say yes or no.
Okay. Well, I'm just we're trying to get your memory back to see what.
I'm just trying to keep a level head here, and I'm trying to answer these as honestly and the best that I can. I don't know how my neck would be would have got scratched up or would be scratched up like that. I don't know.
You sure you don't?
Honestly, you can bring anybody in here you want to ask me, and I will tell you. I'll tell anybody to their face. I'm a stack of Bibles. I'm a very religious person. And you can, I do not honestly know.
So, like I said, we were just trying to find an explanation for some of the injuries we saw. And you told me that she didn't complain of being injured. She hadn't been to the doctor for an injury, physical injury, anything like that. And you noticed that there's blood coming from her nose at first and in her mouth, and then maybe a cut somewhere on her head.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it was coming out of her. Yeah, I think it was coming out of her mouth right away too.
Okay. And then to be clear, can you kind of, without hurting yourself, can you demonstrate where by her chest or head or neck and how hard you?
You
showed me before how.
Yeah, I don't know how far up I don't know how far up either down or what. I was doing chest compressions down below, so I don't know how far. Okay. I don't remember how. I know I tried to wake her up several times. Okay. I can't honestly tell you or show you where. I can't honestly tell you. I'm not going to lie about it and try to tell you and show you where it was or what. I just know that and I didn't do it a ton. I maybe did it.
You told me you were describing, you said you guys didn't argue, you never put a hand on her?
No, never, ever. I've never, you can ask, we have 5,000 friends that we do stuff with and family. Okay. We have had an awesome marriage together. Awesome. Okay. I really have absolutely no reason to. Our house is in her name. It was on her home farm. I don't know even if I have any insurance on her. We took it all on me because if something happened to me, she would be able to stay where she is and live. She and I work 6 hours a day. I would, you can ask anybody. I would do anything for her. Anything. You can, there's people we do stuff with every week. You can ask my kids. Our kids just had a surprise 25th wedding anniversary for us.
How old was that?
August 4th or 5th. We had 150 people that had a 25th wedding anniversary. And,
you love her a lot?
I very much loved her a lot. I did. You can ask my kids. My kids will tell you I would do anything for her. Anything.
The things that we look at through the course of an investigation are, as you know, multiple different things. There's injuries to Barbara that aren't consistent.
Okay.
There's a lot of injuries to her that aren't consistent with a pipe going through the windshield.
Okay.
The pipe going through the windshield itself would, at those rates of speed, with a car going 45, 50 miles one way, say 45, 50 miles the other way, that pipe would be a projectile that would go right through anything it came in contact with. If it hit her in the head, it would have gone right through that.
Yep.
So what we need to know, and sometimes it's tough to tell, is what was the state before that pipe came through with Barbara. Okay? And it's not easy to tell.
How do you tell that?
We need you to tell us that.
What do you mean? What state? What?
There's injuries that aren't consistent with the scene that was drawn out.
Okay.
Okay. And we need an explanation for those.
Okay.
And we don't have an explanation for some of those injuries because they didn't happen by a pipe coming through the windshield. And I think you understand that. And you,
okay.
I mean, I think you know that.
Okay. And this is the first time anybody's talked to me about how everything is, or what. Sure. I mean,
yeah.
I've been out to the hospital since we just closed the deal out there, and then yesterday we went and got our stuff in order for
sure
to take care of her body.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't heard anything.
And I know you haven't. And we're kind of we're trying to figure out some of these things.
Okay.
And we're here talking to you so you can help us figure those things out.
Okay.
Of what happened before you were out on Bergen Coulee.
Nothing.
Okay.
There was absolutely nothing happened before we were out on Bergen Coulee.
Okay. You realize that pipe would have gone right through the vehicle at those speeds.
I don't know. I don't know. I've never dealt with anything like this, or.
Well, that's most people wouldn't know that, but with the physics of it, and the pipe traveling a 53-inch pipe traveling at 45 to 55 miles per hour in one direction, with a car going to a car windshield at 45 to 55 miles the other direction. That's going to be a pretty heavy projectile, and it's going to take a whole lot of something to stop it. It's not going to be a windshield. It's going to go right onto you.
Okay.
Okay. And if it did hit her, and you're not sure where it hit her. We're not sure where it hit her because I don't know if it did or not, if it just shattered or what. But there's all these injuries that we need to have an explanation for.
Okay. But I don't know when I can. How? I mean, what? Tell me what I'm going to do.
Imagine, if you will, a single piece of metal coming through the windshield.
Yeah.
Hitting you. How big of an injury do you think you could receive from that?
Well, it's going to hit you. It's going to right through you.
It's just big armor. Okay. All right.
Obviously, I mean, I can.
How many times did that go through?
Some people are going to help me today.
So, how many times did that hit that person in the car?
What do you mean?
If it came through the windshield, can we assume that if it hit her once? Right? Here's what they're telling us at the autopsy, is that she's been hit several places, front and back on her.
Okay.
And so
I'm not making excuses. I'm 100% innocent, okay? But I just wanted to say this. Could that be from when or wouldn't that be enough force from when she fell? Okay.
No, not at all.
It wouldn't be.
Not at all. No.
Okay.
Can I tell you about some of the injuries?
Yeah.
Just a broken nose. Pipe hit. You can imagine if a steel pipe hits you in the nose.
I don't think
there's going to be a cut, right?
It would have cut her bad in the nose. I don't think it cut her in the nose.
Inside her lips, there's heavy bruising and cuts.
Okay.
Something like her lip was pressed hard against her teeth.
Okay.
Not hard enough to break her teeth, but hard enough. So maybe a punch or.
Was her water glass open?
No, I don't know that.
Well, the last one did that.
You can let me finish.
We always, when she
Is it a
said
mug, you said? Is it a glass or is it a
no, it's just a mug.
mug? Glass mug?
No, it's not glass. It's like a plastic. It's called a bottle mug.
Yeah.
And when we go in the car, when she goes to work, I make her that glass of water before she goes to work.
Okay.
Does it have like a sip top? Or like,
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got a top you take off or...
The injuries to lips will be consistent.
Okay. Okay.
And then she's got crushed cartilage in her throat.
Okay.
On her neck.
Okay.
She's got 3 extremely deep lacerations down to her skull, back here.
Okay.
Back of her head. She has a skull fracture from those. pretty swollen. Some swelling on this side.
She's got a cut right across her forehead on the right side here.
Okay.
So if you imagine that one pipe coming through,
Right.
would you agree that it would seem fairly unlikely that those injuries could have occurred that way? And that's why we're here.
Completely unlikely, because there's many different planes across that one projectile could not have produced those injuries.
Yep.
Okay. So something happened, and I know it's unlike. I mean, you're a God-fearing man.
God does mysterious things, but I don't.
Yeah.
That's not.
And these injuries did not occur in the mechanism that you had described to us, with a pipe going through the windshield, the plausibility of a pipe falling off of a truck or in any way, shape, or form and going directly through your windshield is one thing we look at, which is very unlikely to have happened.
Yeah.
You agree with that?
Yeah.
That's number two, that at those rates of speed, it's not going to stop where it was.
Yeah.
That's going to go right out through the back seat. I mean, if it hit a window, it's going through the windows. It's going to go. That's a flying spear. It's going to go right through and destroy anything that it comes in contact with. So the pipe isn't something that caused these injuries. That's what we need you to tell us about.
I'm
Something happened.
No.
Okay.
Nothing happened at home.
Okay.
Actually, nothing happened at home.
Okay.
I have actually no reason. I have no reason to do this to my wife. None.
We've both been married for several years. I've been married just about as long as you have been. There's no perfect marriage.
And I understand that. And you can ask my kids.
If there's
You can ask my kids.
Okay.
There is absolutely we have a.
We're not saying that you don't love her.
And I'm not saying that either, but I'm saying that there would be absolutely no reason why I would, and why would I go out at 7:45 or 8 o'clock in the morning when everybody's going to work on a place like that and do something like this? I mean, there's so many places a person could, if it was going to do something like that, a person could do it. I don't get why. There's, I'm not.
Did you guys get an argument about your work schedule?
No, we did not. She don't like me working nights.
You were scheduled to work Friday night.
But, yeah. And she don't like that. She don't like me working nights and weekends. But, there's a certain fellow down there that nobody gets along with.
Sure, that's right.
And and she was, until January we had other scheduled from March. And so just till January we're going to try and see what was on. So.
You were scheduled to work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Yep, take her out to the.
You're on going camp.
Yes, my wife and kids are on camping.
You're going to take them up there?
I always take them with because after work.
Okay.
And then and that's the reason why the kids are going with her. If I can't be there, the kids are her mom went down
So you're
there.
going with them?
I was going to stay up there, but no, I got to work during the night. I was going to night shift. I worked during the day.
You said that you were going to pack and go and camp all weekend.
Yes, I was taking the camp all weekend.
Wasn't you included?
I come back to work and then I back during the day. If we go camping and I'm working, I'll go to work and I'll go back to the campground after work.
And then you're going up to
I'm going to pick this up, Jordan. This one. Hello? correct? I'm down the class here real quick for a minute. So I'll call you when I get down. Where? Okay, Jordan's here in the building.
Jordan's here?
Did you guys call him?
I don't know.
So what building are you at, Bob's or the?
We can check.
Okay. He's in the courthouse. How does he come?
If you go right to the sheriff's department, go right down the middle.
If you go
There's a
that
hallway.
way,
There's the DA's office and the clerk of courts. There's a hallway right down the middle. Up the first steps.
he's at the sheriff's department.
Okay.
So somebody will be right out and try to see. Okay. So, and this is just a dumb question, but if I'm going to get, if you guys aren't
We're just trying to straighten out boundaries.
Help us explain the injuries.
I can't explain them. I told you I don't understand. I don't understand those injuries. I don't.
Either do we, and that's why we need your help. Because the mechanism, your injuries, we're not talking about. We're talking about the injuries on Barbara.
Right.
And the mechanism in which was described by you isn't consistent with those injuries happening. It's improbable for those injuries to happen because there's too many different planes. There's something that happened before the accident.
And
something went wrong. Something went haywire.
No, it did not. I've never gone haywire. I've never gone.
From what we see here is, the scratches on your neck kind of indicate that maybe somebody's trying to defend themselves, and which tells us that this wasn't something that anybody planned out. That maybe an argument that any married couple could get into got out of hand. She didn't die really. She didn't die till she got to the hospital.
We didn't. No, absolutely not. We have.
If there's a way to explain it, now would be the time to do it.
I don't know how.
Something got out of hand.
There's nothing that got out of hand with me. There's nothing that got out of hand with me.
The injuries around her neck are consistent with being choked.
Okay, and I never choked her.
Okay.
I never. I've got.
Todd, you gotta stop for a second. Take a breath and relax, okay?
I can't.
I know it's tough, but let's try for a second, okay? The injuries on Barbara did not occur by a pipe coming through the windshield. You were driving in the car with Barbara before the pipe came through the windshield off of the truck. She had no injuries at that point, is what you're trying to say, and we're saying that those injuries had to have occurred sometime prior to that pipe coming through there, because the pipe didn't come off the truck, and I think you know that too.
No, I'm not.
You know that they didn't happen that way, Todd. The injuries aren't consistent. There's no way that those injuries occurred that way. There's injuries to the back of her head. There's injuries to her neck. There's injuries to her nose. There's injuries to her forehead. There's injuries to her jaw. There's all these different injuries that didn't occur. The pipe didn't go bing, 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 bing.
I understand that.
We're forced to do these kind of injuries. Injuries to the mouth, to the lips, are all consistent. They're all consistent with a struggle that happened at some point.
I did not struggle with her at all. The only struggle I had with her was when I was trying to get her to CPR her.
And that's not going to, you taking her out of a car, you placing her down on the sidewalk and performing CPR is not going to cause any kind of injuries that we're talking about. Those aren't going to happen. It's not going to happen that way, Todd. You know that's not going to happen. You're trying to explain some of the things away, but the problem is that you can't explain some of those away.
I can't. I don't know what happened. I can't explain them. There's.
You ever blacked out?
No. Not that I know.
You're a big drinker or anything like that?
No, I drink brandy once in a while, but I'm not an alcoholic or.
Something happened before you got in the car.
I'm telling you, I'm looking at you.
Okay, then help me explain
don't know how to explain them.
Give me well, there's injuries to the nose. There's injuries to the mouth. Her nose is broken.
Like sideways, like in, like how?
It's broken. There's no cuts to it.
It could be from a mug. With her mug?
The nose is broken. The lips are bruised. There's a cut across her forehead. There's injuries here. There's injuries to the back of her head.
But
There's no damage to your car.
There's
fractured skull.
Why would there be damage to my car?
Well, if you're trying to explain that her head might hit the dash or her drink, something that caused the car to stop suddenly.
Why did I think that would have been when I put it in reverse?
And that's not going to have enough force to do anything.
The only possible thing that I can think of that when she, I don't know. I can't. I'm not a crime scene guy.
You're not a crime scene person, but you were there.
But if I was going to try to do something to my wife, I sure in the hell wouldn't have done it like this. To put somebody through misery and pain like that. There's no way in hell I would have ever. I've got 50 guns sitting in my cabinet. I've got so many things, and we had no fight. There was absolutely zero fight. We had absolutely nothing.
Sometimes in moments of anger, it can turn into rage, and those things just all of a sudden, yeah, you get guns and this and there, but
I'm telling you, there was no anger, there was no rage. I'm not an evil.
How did the pipe go through the windshield?
What do you mean?
How did the pipe get through the windshield? Let's start there.
It came off the truck. I did not put that pipe through that windshield.
I didn't say you did, but I'm saying how did it get through the windshield?
I don't know.
You kind of explained the physics of it. You kind of understood that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That it's just not going to stop and get stuck in the windshield at those velocities.
There is absolutely, with the granddaughter and my kids and my wife.
And I understand that there's something snapped, something like that. There's something that happened that I know. And I'm not saying that you had made a practice of anything like this at all. I'm just saying that something snapped.
No.
And something happened.
You can try to get me to snap.
What happened? Well, help us explain.
I wish I could.
Explain to me.
I honestly wish I could explain it to you. I honestly wish I could explain this to you.
Because your story about going to pick up a vehicle to do the windshield that's a lie.
It's not a lie.
That's a complete lie.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. You didn't go to you said his keys, you told him the keys are always in his car, he's always there. If he's gonna have a truck, he's gonna have it parked at the driveway, in his driveway. Yes, and Thursday you drove up there to pick up the car, but you never went by his driveway. You were looking around for it. You thought it was at Shuffleback, but you're driving around.
Yeah, we went up there.
Yeah, but you didn't go to his house to look for it.
Yes, it wasn't at his house.
You said that's where it would always be.
No.
How did you know where it was?
It wasn't at his house.
How do you know that? Tell me how you know that.
Because it wasn't his truck.
How do you know that it wasn't his? You said if he has a truck for you to fix, it's always at his house. Whose house was that at?
No, I didn't see it's always at his
Whose house was that?
I don't know the guy's name.
So you're going to go look for a truck that's parked at an unknown person's house. It might be over the backside of Shufflebine Hill. And if the keys are in it, you're going to take it?
Yeah.
You don't know who the guy is?
There's a Ford truck with
Really?
I do it all the time. I've done it for 26 years.
So for 26 years, you'll have somebody call you and say, hey, I got a windshield for you to fix. It's my buddy's. Go pick it up.
When I was in business.
Where is it?
When I was in business, no.
Where is it?
But now,
It's at his house. Who's his buddy?
But now with yes, I
Who
do.
is his buddy? That's not plausible. You know that's not plausible. That's not where you're going that morning.
Yes, it is.
You haven't talked to him for time.
I'm not.
He said that the only time that he had contact with you was back in May. Remember what kind of windshield he told you to order?
There was a couple that he wanted.
He told you to order one. He said he's got one.
Okay.
Remember what kind it was?
I don't remember anymore. I got such
No.
a memory right now.
You don't remember what kind I told you ordered in May?
Well, the F-250 was the one, the windshield that I ordered for him.
Yeah, a month ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Why would you order it a month ago?
Because that's what he talked to me about. That's what I ordered all the other ones.
In May. He talked to you in May about it. His buddy had this truck. And you told him that it was a coincidence because you actually had one on hand.
I saw that a long time ago from that,
Yep.
the one I had on hand.
And then he never contacted you again about anything, ordered another one. Never did. Never had any conversation about where it was. He didn't talk to you about anything else. He never told you the guy's name. So your story about driving to Holman to get a pickup truck that you don't know where it is or anything about it other than it's what was it?
Sir,
What was the vehicle?
a Ford pickup,
What kind of Ford pickup?
F-250.
Okay. And that's what you're going to go do. You're going to drive around on the day that you're going to go camping. You got all the stuff to get ready to go.
We do it all the time.
Your wife's going to be driving.
All the time.
You don't do it all the time.
We
You don't do that all the time.
okay.
All the time, somebody will contact you, say, I got a cracked windshield, can you give me one? Yep. Okay, I'm either going to bring it to your house to have it fixed, or you're going to come to my house and have it fixed. That's what you said before. You're just on a wild goose chase, driving around Holman, trying to find an F-250 or Ford pickup truck someplace around Holman that you didn't find.
No.
You also said, if it's going to have it fixed, you're going to have it at his house and the keys are in it, because he always leaves the keys in it.
In his truck, he does.
What's his house look like?
It's an old farmhouse
Okay, where?
back at the end of a coulee. Got
How
jumped
many times have you
over
been
once.
there? Okay.
So,
When were you there? Once.
oh God. He's supposed to be doing some work on my son's tractor.
He did work on your son's tractor.
He didn't do work. He did the heads for it. My son took him there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Your son took
The head. That
to his house?
Yeah.
Okay. And you've been there how many times?
Just once.
When was that?
I don't know, a long time ago.
But if you're going to do work for him and do windshields, you said he's always going to have his truck in the driveway with keys in it. But you haven't done work for him, so you wouldn't know that.
His truck is always in the truck, yes.
How do you know that?
He tells me that. Tells
He
all the
said
time.
his normal conversation, by the way, I always leave my keys in my truck and then in my driveway.
I know a lot of people that do.
I know a lot of people that do too. I don't know a lot of people that just in the middle of a conversation blurt out and say, I always do that.
I have quite a few friends that tell me that in case something ever comes up or.
Your wife's gonna get done with your wife's gonna get done at 2:30 on Friday. Okay, and you weren't gonna leave directly from school because she's got a lot of packing to do.
We had some to finish.
Yeah, so we got a lot of packing to do.
And it was raining.
Yeah, and it was raining, so you're not gonna leave at 2:30. She gets done at 2:30. She gets done at 2:30. It's gonna take her a period of time to get home, so you're looking at 3 o'clock.
Yep.
Then you gotta pack.
Yep.
You gotta do all kinds of stuff. So now
You're up there and set up and you're wondering how I'm going to get to work, right?
You're not gonna get to work.
Right.
You know you're not gonna get to work.
Yep.
You're never late.
Yeah, I am. I've got several points on my attendance
You're a
record.
pretty good employee, according to them.
No, I've got 5 points
Why
on
would they
my.
tell me that?
I can prove it.
Prove what?
Okay, that I've got 5 points.
I don't care if you have 5 points or not. You're not gonna make it back in time for work
I
at
understand
6:30. You're not gonna make it back by.
And I've got days to call in for sick days.
You didn't call in sick.
I don't
You
have
went
to,
ask
last
you because,
minute.
but
So
you haven't called in sick. You called in sick 5 times this year, only.
only that's
No,
pretty good for me.
That's really good.
So,
That's really good for an employee of Crown Court Conceal. That's what they told me.
well, not with our tenants policy now, but
No, they're telling. That's what I talked to them. They told me you're very good in tenants. You're not. That's not an issue. Good employee, doesn't complain a lot.
yep. So
You're not going to make it back. You're not going to make it back in time for work.
Right. And I have called in several times. I do it at least 5 times a year for stuff like this. Every other year for Crown Fest, when my day don't fall in.
You've always taken the day off.
And we don't have trades anymore. Did you ask them that? We don't have trades anymore to take the day off.
Schedule vacations.
You can't. And my vacations are done. You can't get a vacation in August, September. I'm too low on the pole to get a vacation.
They told you they were giving you a day off to make the transition to third shift or to night shift.
Right.
You didn't take it.
I didn't need it. One day wouldn't have helped me.
No? Would have given you time so you were going to call in sick instead? One day would have helped you perfectly. One day would have fit in perfectly if you're going to be running around, you're going to be late. It's going to work at 6:30, your wife's not done until 2:30, and they offered you to say, why don't you just take the day so you can adjust to the third shift, and you're saying that's not going to help you?
I don't ever take a transition day when I switch crews.
It would have helped you. You would have had to call in sick like you were planning on. Were you planning on calling sick or planning on calling in late?
Sick. I wouldn't come back that late.
Okay.
But if it's over 2 hours.
Coming back.
If it was
You
over,
always do that.
if it was over 2 hours.
You told me you always do that.
Okay. So
and these are things that are not making sense to me.
I
And I want you to understand
I
them,
perfectly understand that.
how they're just kind of floating around here. We're
Yes.
not touching them.
Yep.
And there's no explanation.
I gave you all the answers that I can think of and come up with. I'm not going to try and.
You haven't given us all of them.
I understand that, and I don't have all of them. Okay? I don't have all of
Quite a
them.
few of them, Todd. You know,
And look at, I would tell you if I had them answers.
Okay.
Would you?
Yes, I would.
Can I just run through this with you, Ted? And you tell me if you would think anything differently. Okay. So we've described the injuries she's had, which are multiple. And you said that you agree that those injuries couldn't happen from a pipe going through the windshield one time.
Right.
The professionals, those that conducted the autopsy, are telling us the same thing. Impossible.
Oh.
So we've gone through those injuries with you. You said she had no injuries beforehand.
Yeah.
You pointed out for us.
Yeah. Let me see if I can do it now. Sorry.
No problem.
Too many people. That's my son's phone, so I tried to
Good.
No, I don't know how to do it. I'll just wait until he's.
Okay. So you kind of explained the scenario coming from home with your wife on a morning that she had to work. Somehow became important to replace this windshield after a month. I think most people, if you were to say if an object went through your windshield at this driveway, that you probably would have stopped within 100 feet or so, certainly not turned off onto the side road, ended up in a ditch after hitting. That seems strange, doesn't it? Okay.
How far from that house was I?
Okay.
Not very far.
Right.
And a school bus comes through at what?
Yeah, okay.
So, I'm just saying.
I think most people, and maybe I'm wrong, but if I can just kind of go through each thing. If you were to most people, I think, if you were to ask them the same scenario, they would have stopped, and maybe they've done exactly what you did after the fact. But your odds of someone coming by and helping you out are better on County M, the main highway, than it is by driving out of some side road. Given that, you've got these scratches that on the chest can't be explained. Some on your neck that you say may be from doing tree stand work.
No, I said I was from tree stand work.
Well, you said possible traill riding.
No, I said this possibly could be.
This, okay.
The ones on my neck, I have no clue.
You have no, okay.
I said that.
Okay.
I said that.
Okay. And we work a lot of domestics, and those are very similar to a domestic dispute type. And in addition to that, you have your explanation of how you tried to revive her. All right? Okay. And you put all that together, and because we look into this, like I explained earlier, the medical examiner says this very much looks like somebody killed her.
Really?
So when we get that information, we're going to proceed on that, right?
Right. Yep.
And part of that is if we were to tell her, we'd get rid of the evidence, right? And one might say that in some ways, somebody could have got rid of some of the evidence, given the amount of time that went by.
What
Having said
do I
that,
have for evidence?
okay, and that's what I'm getting to. At the house, they're doing a search warrant now.
Okay.
They found blood in this unattached garage, drops of blood
And where?
in the unattached garage.
That's, okay, and that's great.
Where's it from?
I don't, a deer, there's absolutely no blood over there. You can run a DNA. I'm perfect with that. I have absolutely no problem with that.
They're still searching the house.
That's fine.
That's just one of the
Yeah,
aspects.
that's, just tell them if they can not to mess all the stuff up that we got for Barb for this weekend.
Okay.
I'm 100% okay with them going through everything, just don't mess up, it's just pictures and all that stuff.
Okay.
I'm 100% okay with everything else.
All right.
But just don't, we have a lot of time and effort in that.
Sure.
I don't want them to mess up, they can go
Okay.
through everything.
So we're going to look at the car, and I think you agree too, and I think everybody with just some knowledge of flying objects realize that pipe's going to penetrate substantially more.
Yeah,
So, given all those circumstances thus far, and the fact that we're going to look at the car, if that bulge in the windshield doesn't have your skin in there, that won't add up. So, you have this unique opportunity today to explain if something else happened and help us understand. We want to help you.
I want to look at both you guys right now.
Okay. Otherwise, the evidence is going to talk for
And let the evidence talk. Evidence can talk all it wants to. Evidence can talk all it wants to.
People
Okay?
understand why you wouldn't want to, but
I did not hurt my wife at all. And you can check that blood in the garage, you can check whatever you want to check. I did not hurt my wife. Okay? You can check.
Who did?
I have no idea. The pipe that I'm sorry, but I was with her. I did not hurt my wife.
All these injuries happen.
I understand that. I understand that.
Coming through that window.
I don't know how they could have. I honestly do.
But you do know.
I don't know. And you're not going to get me to snap? I'm not.
I'm not snap. I'm not saying.
I'm not. I'm
What
very.
I'm saying is that you know how it happened.
I'm very. I don't know what you call it, but I will not. I don't care how much somebody pushes me. I will not snap. Under no circumstances will I snap or
what do you mean by snap?
to just blow up and get outraged and.
We're not trying to get you outraged. We're trying to help you
explain.
explain.
Because you don't realize I'm without my wife.
You're not the first person.
And I understand you guys got to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But I've told her I know you got to do it 2 or 3 times to try to get me to say something wrong. I'm not telling you guys anything that's not
We're just looking for the truth.
And I'm giving you my truth. I'm giving you my truth.
Is that the truth?
That's the truth. How these injuries happened, I have no idea.
Would you come up with a different conclusion
Would I come up
If you
with
were us?
based on what I told you so far?
Well, if that's what you're looking at, yeah. I probably would.
What would that be?
But is there nothing, there's absolutely no way that, we did every scenario and I don't know how fast that truck was going. I told you guys that.
That doesn't-
I assumed, I don't know how,
We might expect something like that if there's a rollover accident at high speed.
I've seen video of a pipe that got run over, went straight up in the air, and went through a police squad car's windshield sideways on an on-ramp at probably anywhere from 25 to 35 miles per hour. And it wasn't traveling anywhere, it just went straight up in the air, a car drove through, and that had enough. So that made it through sideways at that slow of a speed.
and it may
It's
have
going through, according to you, is going through this way, straight, at 90 to 120, depending on the speeds, miles per hour, if you put both the traveling speeds together.
Yeah.
It's not going to stop.
I'm 100%.
The injuries on Barb are not consistent with the accident that occurred. They could not, those injuries did not happen in that accident. They did not happen in that accident.
Well,
They did not happen in that accident. There's no way that those injuries, the totality of those injuries, happened with one blow and in that accident. They did not happen that way. There's no way, no how.
Well, what then, I'm telling you, what,
You're not telling us the whole truth.
yes, I am.
You're not.
I'm not,
I wish you were. I know it's tough, and I'm not trying to get you riled up, but you're not telling us the truth. You're not.
Something else happened.
do the search
There's
warrant.
explain. There's.
Do this, guys, I can't do anymore. I can't do it. I can't tell you anymore. I can't do anymore. You do the search warrant.
Did your son kill her?
Hell no.
Did your daughter?
No.
Did
My kids love my wife. I was with her. I was in the car with her.
Was anybody else at your house?
No.
You said you called your mother-in-law.
My son was home,
Your son was home till.
but sleeping.
Okay.
He's home
So
Thursday night.
he was sleeping when you left.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, how close is the bedroom to, say, the kitchen area? I assume you use the kitchen area in the morning?
Yeah.
Okay. How close is the bedroom?
His bedroom's right below it.
Okay.
I was in the car with her. There's nobody that hurt her.
So your son would tell us that he was home
Yes.
that morning?
Yes.
Okay. And he would also tell us under oath that he didn't hear a disturbance or an argument?
He would have come up. We never argue. We never argue. It would be, we never argue. He'll tell you that, yeah. She has a bowel movement problem thing that she gets constipated and then gets diarrhea and back and forth.
Like Crohn's or?
No, I don't know what it's called, irritable bowel syndrome.
Okay.
And there'd be times when she'd get worked up about that.
Like angry?
No, that she'd have to, anytime like we went to Heydays on a big trip or a long trip,
Yep.
she'd get all nerved up and then she either wouldn't be able to go to the bathroom or she wouldn't be able to stop. But that, and we dealt with it for 25 years.
Okay.
And
Have you been sick?
I'm never sick.
Okay.
I
I just asked that because I don't know where I heard it, but that you had lost some weight.
I've been losing, yeah.
Okay.
I was up to 246 and my doctor wanted me to get down to 200 pounds.
Okay.
So
No,
yeah.
your doctor's advice.
Yeah.
You've been.
Yeah, we got a
how have you
membership.
been
We got a membership at the gym in West Salem.
Okay.
And we don't go in the summer, but in the fall, every night after work, we go down. And we go to the gym together.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all been planned to try to lose weight. I had an acid reflux problem, and he said losing weight would help it, and my family's got diabetes. So he said that would help me stay away from that.
Okay.
So it was a plan that Barb and I had worked on and said, yeah, we want to go with, I want to get down.
Okay.
So that was all 100% planned. And either her or it's normally Barb that calls her mom on Friday morning or every morning before she goes to work.
So who called her that morning?
I did because I had a well guy coming. She was having trouble with her well running. And I had a well guy coming.
Did anybody do work on it? Well,
I don't know if he called me back or not. I had it set up with West Salem.
okay.
He had a job in Madera or somewhere. So I don't remember where he had his first job.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, he was going to call me and come out.
Okay. And you said her place is on your property?
We built our house on the home farm.
On the home farm. And where's your mother-in-law?
Right down the hill from us, right below us.
And she had a well problem?
We just remodeled her whole bathroom. We put her laundry room upstairs and stuff because she's 84 and she can't go up and down the stairs anymore.
Okay.
So I just remodeled her whole bathroom, put the washer and dryer upstairs.
So you're pretty handy that way?
And yeah, I like doing that stuff.
You did a remodel?
We flipped 5 or 6 houses in the last couple of years, Barb and I have.
Yeah, okay.
So.
Do you do all the work or?
No, we just do, like she does all the decorating and painting and stuff.
Okay.
And I'll do some of the demo, and if it's a small one, I'll do it, but if it's a big one, I hire it out.
Okay.
Just a little hobby that we do. We did one to pay for the kid's wedding, and we did this one to buy a camper.
Okay.
So just a little something.
So do you contract with anyone else?
As far as
electrical or plumbing
Yeah.
or anything like that?
I have Rocky Locky can do all my framing.
Okay.
And,
What part do you do?
What's that?
What part do you do then if he doesn't?
I'll help with framing. If it's a new construction, I'll have him do all the framing and the siding and all that.
Who does electrical?
Well, Tim Tracy usually does, but I had Allied do this one. Allied Electric.
And how about plumbing?
My son-in-law.
What's his name?
Michael.
Like,
Michael Service.
okay. He's a plumber?
He's an apprentice plumber.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And so you, what kind of work had you done on, what was wrong with your mother-in-law's?
Well, I guess it was just, she's got an old toilet downstairs. And I guess they found out, Nest didn't go, her nephew came over. And I guess she's got an old toilet downstairs that I thought was unhooked, but that was the rubber thing that was leaking.
Okay.
So every now and then the pump would kick on for no reason.
Gotcha.
About 10 years ago it did that, and we had to dig the whole yard up and replace the water line coming in.
Okay.
And I thought that maybe that's what it was again, because the ground is sinking a little bit around there.
Okay.
So I thought maybe that's what it was again.
So who did that replacement?
That was Service, Cletus Service.
Okay.
I don't think he does it anymore. He was pretty old then.
Related to Mike?
No. Cletus's kid Scott does it now, Scott Service.
Okay.
He does the plumbing now.
Okay.
But I've had Les Abel do a few jobs for me, septic wise. And so he had worked on Joyce's well before. And so he was going to come out and look at it.
Okay.
And he was just going to call me when he's done with that other job and come out.
Gotcha. What's your mother-in-law's name?
Joyce
Joyce
Adams.
Okay.
She's
she pretty with it yet? She talks. Normal conversations.
Yeah, but she's really she don't get out much anymore. She don't. If Barbara and I didn't take her somewhere, she wouldn't go anywhere.
Okay. Did you visit her a lot, or did she?
Oh yeah, we were down there every three probably. Well, we helped with the lawn, and I shoveled all the snow, and Barb did all our bills and that stuff.
Okay.
So she's pretty dependent on Barb, she was, and then me for the fix-it stuff and the snow and like that.
Mm-hmm. Did she have income?
Joyce?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
She had her husband retired from the county, and she was just a telephone operator, so she didn't have much money income, but the farm was paid for, and
okay.
so
She doesn't pay rent or anything like that?
no.
Okay.
Everything she's got is paid. She's got an older little Montana van, and she don't drive that anymore. She don't want to be on the road anymore, so
Okay.
if the whole family goes, then we take that van, because it's enough people.
Gotcha.
We would on a Friday night take her for fish or take her to church on Sunday, and that's about. We go for a lot of rides. When Barb's dad was around yet, every Sunday we had to go for a ride somewhere.
Okay.
And so we tried to kind of keep that tradition with Joyce, just to keep her mind out of stuff, and she just sits in the house all day by herself.
Okay.
So
how are you doing financially?
excellent. We got our house is almost paid off. It's a $350,000 house. It's almost $50,000 on it.
Okay.
Our payment's only $400 a month, and we owe on the car. We had, I think, $9,000 on the car, and that's all we got to pay for.
There's no other debts?
No.
Okay.
And I make
If I can ask you what you make roughly?
$85,000.
Okay. And how about?
Be a little more now because I'm in the maintainer group, so probably be closer to 90, 92. But
Okay.
so.
What was Barb making?
Probably 15.
Okay.
15 or 16.
And your other source of income were these house flips, or?
Just our house flips we do. And we wouldn't do them to get rich off them.
So you would actually buy a house?
Yeah.
How would you pay for it?
A loan through the bank.
Okay. And how long would it take you to flip one?
It depends. This last one took me a little bit longer. It took us probably 9 months. It was a brand new one we built.
Okay.
We've done a couple new ones and a couple flippers.
Use the same bank.
Yeah. 7 Bridges Banks up in Holman. I work with Todd up there, and been just phenomenal to work with. We have all our regular checking and banking and everything at the First Community Credit Union. We have, I think, 3 checking accounts and 2 or 3 savings accounts there.
Okay.
And Barb takes care of all that. And then,
And you've never gotten any financial distress
no.
because the flip took too long, or?
No. We've always been.
So it's been paid on time?
What's that?
The mortgages or loans have been paid on time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we've never had a problem with any of that.
Okay.
We'd always, to start it, we'd always, because Barb's mom has a lot of money in the bank just for her, in case something happens to her house or whatever.
Sure.
So, to start our projects, we'd go down there and get whatever we needed to start it with from her. And then we'd pay her back a little bit of interest, like $30,000 or $50,000 or like that. And then when the deal closed, then we'd pay her back with interest for using that money.
Okay. Gotcha. And you said you're both healthy. Kids are healthy?
Very healthy, yep.
Okay.
Jessica's got a little bit of a depression problem. She got it from Barb, but
So what would depression look like in Barb?
she just get quiet.
Never got ornery and argumentative, or?
If the garage wasn't clean, she'd come home and say, that she'd have a list, can you do this, this, and this.
Okay.
But it wasn't nothing. I mean, I got a list. Did I see it on the refrigerator? I got a list.
That to-do list.
And there's only a couple things crossed off on it, just because we always did, instead of going here, we'd go there, or do this or that. And they're big, our retaining wall up front needs to be replaced, and we were going to try and get that done. This fall, our roof needed to be fixed. We needed to finish the back half of our shingles. And that was on the list. I got that done because of all these rains we've been having. But she'd just get down and mopey and sit in the house before I got home, and then she'd write a bunch of stuff down as far as what's what.
Okay.
And say, can we get these done? And just put them on,
Okay.
But she never got logger or ornery or,
Sure.
she just get, mopey like that.
The kids wouldn't have seen anything like that either.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they have.
How would they say her depression look like?
Just like I said, quiet,
Same.
mopey, have a list of stuff to
So
get
she
done.
wouldn't argue with them either,
Mm-mm.
or fight with them, or?
No, she'd argue a little bit with Jordan once in a while because he likes to flip snowmobiles and cars and stuff.
Okay.
Between the school stuff, and she wanted him to concentrate on the school loan instead of the other stuff.
Sure.
So, and it was just kind of a way for him to, get away from school for a little bit, and he enjoyed doing it. It didn't hurt, and she'd be fine with it. Just if she was in one of her little moods, but then she'd sit down and talk to him about, that's what you should be doing instead of that, and but nothing ever. No, neither one of our kids ever. When Jessica was in high school, we had a pretty good spat with her. She was mad at us, and we didn't agree with one of the boys that she was wanting to go out with, and we had a whole spat there, and got a little nasty. She got a little nasty, but
Nasty.
I just blew it off, and
What if police called her?
no, we never got that nasty. It was just, she was mad because we wouldn't let her date this kid, and she was old enough, and yada yada. And
So was it a shouting match or?
Yeah, this
anything
kind of
physical?
No, never. We've never. None of our families ever gotten physical. We've had very, very, very few shouting matches, especially now that they're out of high school.
Sure.
We've got a phenomenal knit. I mean, everybody just, we go to the apple orchard every year. We go,
Is it just the two of you, or do you have another couple that are friends with you, or?
well, we have a bunch of different friends, but mainly it was just Barb and I that would do stuff.
Okay. Who's your closest friends?
Well, we got several of them, Tammy and Jeff Larson.
How do you know them?
Just friends.
Okay.
Their kids went to school with our kids,
Okay.
and we've got to know them good that way.
Sure.
And then Paulie and Kara Jonas are some of our good friends. We used to camp with them a lot. We went on trips to Michigan and all over with them, with the campers.
Colin?
What's that?
Colin and Karen Jones?
Paul and Kara. And then Rob and Ruthie Wilson.
Who would you consider your best friend?
My best friend, Jordan.
Who do you think? Barb. What was Barb's best friend?
Probably Janella Serrara.
Who's she?
She grew up with her.
Okay. Been friends since they were kids?
Yeah. We'd go out to fish. She was always our third wheel, we called her. She never got married, she was heavier set. When Barb first met her in school, I remember Barb telling me this. Janella come in and everybody started picking on her. And Barb was always the one that would go for those kind of people. And she said she stuck up for her, and she said ever since then they've been friends. She said through everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care what it is, a birthday, anniversary, Janella will not miss a card for us.
Oh, yeah.
It's
nice.
She was in our wedding. She's probably that, and then Tina McCoy is probably another one, but Tina lost her daughter 8 years ago. It's been longer than 8 years ago. So she's probably not quite as close as Janella is to Barb. But probably Janella is her best friend. Jordan and I, when he's back, when he's home, if I'm not with Barb, I'm with him.
Anybody hang out with at work?
Do I?
Yeah.
Oh God, there's a bunch.
Just at work or outside work? Or?
Outside work and at work.
Okay.
I hang around with Keith Wacky, Barry Christensen, Scott Torgerson. Barb and I would, it was us two, and then if someone else wanted to do something with us, we were fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise we did everything with us, her and I.
Okay.
Whether it was going to get ice cream or going for a drive or just whatever it was. We'd go up to Tonut, all the little craft shops on the main drag. We'd go up, do it all around. But
sounds like pretty close.
We were very close.
On Friday, was Barb planning on going back home to change after you got done with where you were going?
Yes.
She was going to change?
Yep, she was going back home. We weren't planning on going up till later.
No. Before work. When you're going to...
No, she was ready to go to work.
She was ready to go to work?
Yep.
And that's what she would normally wear?
Yep.
It sounds like they normally would wear jeans on Fridays. So they'll kind of match her.
What did she have on? She was ready to work. She was ready to go to work. She had her work clothes and she was dressed to go to work.
Because normally they wear jeans. The food staff wears jeans on Fridays. And some type of a matching shirt that they pick out. She wasn't in that. She didn't have that on.
Well, she dresses herself, so I don't know. I can't tell you that.
I'm just
She
telling you,
right.
normal.
Another strike against me, but she.
I'm just.
Right, I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you that she's. Because half the time she had to pick my clothes out for me that I couldn't match.
Your guy.
So she's.
No problems with any bills or anything like that?
None.
None?
No.
Sounds like there's a lot of bills, unopened bills at the house.
Well, we just closed on a house that I have to pay. That's from all the house bills.
They also found blood in the attached garage.
Okay?
It sounds like you keep a pretty tidy house. Is there any explanation on what that would be?
She just cleaned it, I don't know. When there was, she had when there's still a bunch of, we took some of it to the dump Saturday, but,
You were there helping her clean though, right?
no, I was not.
Okay.
She had everything all stacked, and I can't remember if she even sent me a text saying she's got a bunch of stuff to go or not. But she had a whole bunch of stuff stacked in the middle of the garage. She cleaned everything. She tore everything apart, cleaned everything. So I don't know if it's from, if she got cut there, I don't know what that is. I know for a fact that she's never over, unless she comes over to help me clean the detached garage, she's never in that. We got our...
Yeah, no, they found some there, then they just found some in the attached garage.
And like I say, I don't know what that's, if it's the same stuff that's in the other garage, or if it's from her, or what. I don't know what to tell you with that. I don't have an answer for that.
We come back to the spot of these injuries on Barbara that are not consistent with the accident.
And there's no other possible where,
Not with the different levels of injury, the different planes is what they call them. They refer to them as different planes. So there's no explanation whatsoever.
That
different injuries.
That pipe didn't come from your house, did it?
no.
I can show you here. It's down to the crime lab. You know what DNA is, right?
Yep.
So I just want to make sure that nobody else from the house has their DNA on that pipe. Is there any reason it would be?
What's this mean? I don't see how it...
That's just an evidence sheet that shows that the pipe is down to the crime lab.
Right.
This is the pipe that was through the windshield. It went to the crime lab for analysis.
Okay.
It's a metal pipe.
Yep.
So it's down there now.
Okay.
What he's asking you is about that pipe wasn't at your house ever.
No.
So nobody else in the family's DNA will be on that pipe.
No.
Not like it's a pipe that was in the
No.
garage. It was alongside the... Nothing like that.
No.
Out in the whole building.
I've got some
detached garage.
I've got some over by my outdoor boiler,
Mm-hmm.
and I've got a poker rod and a pipe that I use for that.
What kind of pipe is that?
It's just a little piece of like that pipe for a chain link fence. It's like
aluminum pipe?
No, it's like a galvanized, like a thin galvanized. And then I got a blue poker that I poke.
Was it like this pipe?
I don't know what this pipe. I
Pipe that's through the windshield?
I don't honestly remember what that pipe looked like. I honestly don't remember what that pipe. This is like it's just real thin. It's probably this long, maybe. I keep it behind the furnace I got a blue poker there. Now I usually have a fence post there. So if I can't get with them two, I get to the back of the furnace with a fence post. There's absolutely, I have nothing to worry about with that. smoke
Nothing to worry about with that.
with that pipe.
Okay.
Different pipe?
What's that?
It's kind of strange how you said that.
With that.
With that pipe, I have nothing, there's no, there would be nothing found in that pipe from anybody in my family. That pipe has never been around.
Help me to understand the injuries to the back of her head.
I don't, how,
They're significant. Very significant. Todd, I think you're trying not to let it go, but we're coming to the point where it's not, there's no explanations for it. You can't, the injuries that were on Barb did not occur from that accident, from a pipe going through your windshield, from you taking her out of the car, or you performing CPR on her. They didn't occur at that time. Injuries to Barb were done prior to that accident.
I know.
They are.
Well, I was with her.
I know.
I was with her, and I would not and will not hurt my wife. I'm gonna.
How do all those different
I don't know how to do it. We have to,
separate planes of her body
we have to,
from what you're explaining to us? It doesn't jive. It's not the mechanism of. It's not the cause of injury. It's not the mechanism of injury. Those injuries were caused elsewhere.
well, we're gonna have to try to find something else or figure something out. I don't know what.
What is it that concerns you from not telling us? You know, your recollection of it is pretty vague and not very detailed.
Have you ever been in?
I understand it was traumatic.
And have you ever been? How would I say this? Have you ever? Until you had and I've been in accidents before, nothing major, but I've been in accidents before, and your mind starts going 500 miles an hour, and when you until you've been in something like this where this happens, and I know you guys talk to people every day and deal with people every day with this. But there's, I mean, if I could remember it scene to scene, second to second, I would explain it to you how it happened. But I don't know exactly what it. I'm telling you the best that I can remember. I'm telling, and you can shake your head at me.
I don't think you're not giving us the whole.
I'm giving you my story. I have absolutely zero reason to hurt my wife. Zero reason at all, and especially like this. What?
We're not saying that you intended for it to turn out this way.
So what would I intended to do?
Well, something may have happened where the two of you got into, like I said, everybody gets an argument, that you got into some kind of argument, got out of control.
You can ask.
You got out of control, and
You can ask.
after you first even.
I understand. I'm telling you.
Ask everybody, but you were there.
I understand that, but you can ask anybody you want to that has been around with us for our entire lives, and you can ask them if we've ever got into a heated argument or I've ever raised my voice with her.
We're not saying that's a normal thing that you would have done. We're just saying that there's something that happened here. It's out of the ordinary. It's out of your character. But it happened, and that's what we're trying to get to, because what we're seeing doesn't happen. It didn't happen that way. So something out of your character happened in the middle of all this, that some of this occurred. Something happened that you know that happened. You know what happened. You know exactly what happened, Todd.
I don't.
And you have to step up and think about your kids, your grandkids, all that you're not going to have any clue of You need to step forward, be the man,
And
the God-fearing man that you are, and let us know how this happened.
We don't need to bring God in.
How this happened. You brought God in. You said,
I did. I'm just telling you that.
Tell us how this happened so we can explain it, so we can help you out. That's the problem. We don't, right now, we got, there's an explanation for everything.
I understand.
And we understand that. We deal with it all the time.
And we have to find.
Yes. And why we're here talking to you is because we have to find that, because you have that explanation for us.
And
you do, Todd.
I'm telling you, I have nothing else.
You have it up there. It's up there.
I don't.
This happened to married couples all the time. They would appear amongst their friends to be a perfectly married couple, and bad things happen all the time. They don't, and I could bet that 99% of those guys would have never believed that it could have come to that it never could have happened that way, that they weren't even capable of it, and they just got into a rage and couldn't stop what was happening.
Why would I have a pipe? Why would I mean?
Well, we just had a little conversation. What are the odds, first of all, to come down a road that isn't heavily traveled and to have a pipe come through your windshield?
But that road is heavily traveled in the mornings and evenings.
Well, not like an interstate or a U.S. highway. So there aren't regular vehicles, and of all those vehicles, very few of them are going to be carrying a pipe. Even fewer of them are going to have the pipe come loose. Even less odds that it's going to land where it did, in the manner it did, and then sustain the injuries that she had. And in addition to that, what are the odds that that would happen to a guy that changes windshields? I mean, what do you suppose those odds are? 1 in a trillion, if at all?
But there's that one.
But you asked me about you asked me about the pipe. That explains how the pipe might have got there.
What do you mean?
The guy that knows windshields and.
Oh gosh, you guys. I mean, no. There's absolutely no way. There's absolutely no way that if I was going to hurt my wife, I would have done it like this. Absolutely no way.
I'm not saying you shoved the pipe through and hit her. I'm saying somewhere along the road you got in an argument. The two of you
prior, you got an argument.
No, we didn't. We did not get in an argument.
It came to blows. It got out of control, and
we did not.
You thought she was dead.
We did not get in an argument. Absolutely no way. No way did we get in an argument.
How did the bone in her throat get broken?
I don't know how much force can that take. I don't know.
How did her nose get broken?
I don't know that either.
How did she get damage to her lips?
I don't know all this stuff, guys.
How did she get in the forehead?
How did
she have massive wounds to the back of her head?
Could she?
No.
Well, there's gotta be a.
They weren't, that's not, no, if her dropped her head, no, that didn't cause those injuries. Those injuries were caused elsewhere and not in the car.
Well,
they were massive injuries.
They weren't caused outside the car.
Where were they caused?
I can't tell you that. I'm telling you, I can't tell you that.
You could tell us that.
No, I can't. I do not have an answer for that.
Because they weren't there. And the accident did not cause those. And you know they didn't. You can sit here, you know that those injuries, all those injuries did not happen in that car. And you know it.
I'm not going to argue with you guys.
I'm not trying to argue there. I'm just saying, you know that happened. You know that those injuries were not consistent with that type of an accident injury. No way. No how. Didn't happen.
Well,
we need you to explain this how.
I can't explain it to you again.
How did you get the injuries on your hand?
From the windshield.
Okay, explain that. How you did that. What did you do to the windshield that caused those cuts?
I pushed him through the windshield.
You pushed it through the windshield?
Not through it, but into it.
Okay. Right. How did the blood get on the outside of the windshield?
I suppose when I pulled the pipe out.
No.
What would it be then?
I don't know. It's not that way. Well, it would have been on the inside of the windshield if you pulled it out, but not on the outside of the windshield.
How would it have been on the outside?
Because the pipe's not bloody.
So if it's on the windshield, how can it not be?
You tell me.
I don't know. I don't know how to tell you. What I'm telling you is what I know and what I can tell you.
We're doing search warrants on the phones and the computers.
Okay.
So you're aware of that.
That's perfectly fine.
Okay. Including your wife's phone.
Okay.
For any phone calls, text messages, anything at all like that, you can do a whole download of it, same as yours.
Yeah.
All those things are going to be on there. We're going to find any evidence of any kind of a dispute, argument.
You can. I wish you the best.
Yeah, we're stopping it at. It's like can't see it. 2:30:07. We thought it was a good place to stop it.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take our noon recess now for about an hour. I'll be back about 1 o'clock. Again, don't talk about the case, talk about whatever else you want to. They also take care of you over that time, so enjoy your lunch hour.
Oh, yeah.
When was that?
I have to.
A while ago?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's been a long time.
Long time.
We set it up that because I was the money man, and if anything would happen to me, she wouldn't be able to make it to live on her own. So I set it up with me and two big policies. And I don't know, I think we had a little one or something on her, just because the lady said you should have something on her. But we didn't have much at all on her. Just because of the fact that I was the one that, if something happened to me, I wanted to make sure she was taken care of.
You said you had 2 credit cards? Those are all...
Yeah.
Those are all up to date?
No.
Nothing in the rears there?
No, there's 2 of them that are from that house.
How much is owed?
It's only like 4,000 or 5,000 on one and 3,000 on the other, I think.
And that was all from buying supplies for the house that you flipped?
Yeah.
And you sold the house?
We just sold it. We just closed on it here. We just finally got everything taken care of and switched over.
Okay, is this the one you built?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you'd be... What was the $4,000 or $5,000 credit card bill for? Well, you said that's for working on the house.
I put stuff on there so we can get the points for the reward points. Yeah,
Okay, so you didn't take out a loan?
Yeah. We went over the loan.
You went over the loan?
We had to do some stuff extra on the
What was
house.
the loan for? How much did you take the loan out for?
300, 290. I think it was 290.
You took the loan for $290,000. Okay.
I think that's what it was. I'm not exactly sure what it exactly was.
How much did it cost you to build it?
I don't remember. It was right around 290, something like that. 280, 290.
Cost you $290 to
We
build
don't.
$300,000.
Let me tell you this: when we build a house, we do it as a hobby together, and we don't do it to get rich off it. We make it look like this one. I bought a camper with. We bought the camper right when we started the house.
You used the money from the loan to buy the camper?
Yeah, part of just a part of it.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what we do is we try to find something or we put it on the house. Our goal is to get the house paid off.
Okay. How
Um,
much was your camper?
$6,500.
Why don't you put that on your credit card just to get the points?
Because it's a recreational thing. We wouldn't have paid it off. You can't buy a camper with a credit card. It was a private party.
You can take out. Okay.
So we just, that's how we did it. That's how we always did it. That's how we always did it.
So you took out a loan for
I can't remember. We sold the house for $309.
Okay.
And
You took the loan out for what? How long did it take you to build this house?
Well, this one took a while because we were going to maybe move into it.
What's a while?
Said 9 months.
Okay. So 9 months ago you took out a loan from the bank for
I can't remember if it was 280 or 2. I can't remember exactly what it was. I can't remember what it exactly was.
So you don't know what you call the profit then?
No, because we buried the camper into it. We tried to base it. Okay, we want to do this with this or this with this.
When did you close on the house?
Couple 3 weeks ago.
Okay, so everything's done separately.
Yeah. Yep.
You don't know how much you made?
Well,
Minus 6,500.
we didn't make much. I mean, we probably only made.
We're on the sides of this point.
I don't remember.
I just want to make sure your bills and finances are all in
We've
order.
never had a problem with those. I lost my job,
How far back, your credit cards are in arrears, how far back are they in arrears?
so I got the money in the bank to put them off now.
I understand that. How far in arrears are they now?
What do you mean, how far behind?
Yeah.
Maybe a payment.
You just one?
Yeah, they're not way back.
Okay.
No. And if you look at the history on them too, they're always like that with those two.
Collection agency hasn't called you
Nothing
for
right now.
anything?
No,
No bankruptcies?
no, we've never. I lost my job back in, that was in the 90s, and even after that, I still picked up and got, kept all the bills paid and made go with. I had 2 other people that hired me on right away, so it wasn't it didn't affect us much at all.
How much are you in debt right now? How much in unpaid bills would you estimate you have right now?
With everything,
Yeah.
I have maybe 150,000.
Okay, that's included in the house and
Everything.
so
Who paid those bills? You or Barb?
Barb,
So she pretty much took care of the finances?
yeah.
Okay.
If we were gonna be short or something, she would call and say, we gotta do this, we gotta do that.
Is there any arguments about her spending or your spending?
She knew what the finances were, and if she needed to buy something or wanted to buy something, she'd say, like her hair, every so many weeks she went and got her hair done, and she'd always say, I'm getting my hair done this week, so, she checks in me a bigger check, if it's not, take a day of overtime, and we didn't like to run short each week. We try to do what we each check if we could, because some weeks I get a smaller check, and then every other month I get a 3-day paycheck. Because of how my schedule works, I'm on 4, off 4. So every other month I get a 3-day paycheck. But now I just got promoted at work, so
every other week you get 3-day pay or every month?
other month.
Every month.
Did I say a week? Sorry.
I don't know if you said, I'm not sure if you said that or not. Are there weeks that you get the 5-day paycheck then?
No, it's 3 and 4. So, and I just got, maybe, I don't know, 6 months ago I finally progressed into my job to where now I can get, I'm making the big money.
Oh, yeah.
So, and she was pretty happy. She's paying down on the house and everything else, so everything was going good that way.
And you haven't coming into any money? Inheritances?
No.
Or anything like that?
Nope. She kept telling her mom to disperse some of her money just to like her and her brother, so that if she needed it come down the line, she'd have it longer than trying to hold it there.
Okay.
So, But her mom's from the old school. She don't wanna. She can't. I mean, she don't wanna change nothing or do nothing.
You don't know how those scratches got on your body?
No. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
In Madison, they took samples from underneath Barb's fingernails.
Okay.
So you know that.
Okay.
And those are going to go in for analysis.
Okay. And that's perfectly fine.
If those come back and it says that those are skin samples from you, how is that going to be explained? That's what they're going to come back as.
I don't know. I mean, you tell me this stuff now, and then I try to come up with a scenario, and it's going to sound like I'm just pulling straws out. I don't.
An incident that happened.
And I want to solve this as well as you do.
You can.
And I'm telling you.
You can solve this for us.
I'm telling you. I do not know how everything happened, but I can tell you I did not.
What is going to happen when those samples from underneath her fingernails come back and it's your skin samples? Tell me that. I don't know, okay? You got scratches here. You show the pictures.
I see them.
You got a scratch across your chest. That's going to scratch across that with the fingernails. Going to take countless numbers of skin samples, skin cells. These across here are got countless numbers of skin cells. They're linear in nature. They're not like something intense.
How could that be through my shirt? Could it?
You didn't have your shirt on when it occurred?
Oh, come on, serious?
I don't.
Man, I'm getting a little bit nervous here
I'm
now.
telling you. Well, look at that. That's.
Should I have somebody in here to help me, or
I'm just asking how.
just ask me this? Should I have somebody in here to help me?
That's for you to decide.
I don't think I need anybody,
Then it's your decision. I'm trying to get explanations on this.
And
That's an injury that occurred that you have no explanation for.
exactly.
And put it all together. You got to look at our.
I understand.
The totality of everything that we've
Yes.
uncovered in this.
Yes.
And there's so much far-fetched.
Right.
There's things that are not.
Yep.
Can't happen here. It didn't happen like that.
Yep.
It didn't. All these things we're putting together. We don't have an explanation for that.
And
We've got samples. We're going to have skin samples underneath Barbara's nails. I'd be willing to bet that you.
And could it be?
Because she gave you a hug.
No. Come on, guys. Let's be real, okay?
I'm
That's
trying.
not right if we're talking about
I
it.
know. I want to. We want the truth.
I'm trying to give you the truth. I'm giving you everything I can tell you. I wish I could tell you. I'm telling you.
So we're going to have skin samples underneath her nails.
Okay.
You're willing to bet that?
Okay. And could it be when I lunged over to her side of the car? Could it be? I'm just asking. Could it be from then? Because I don't remember.
Tell me how that happened. Tell me.
I don't know. I mean, I lunged down to the. I don't know.
Lunging across is how is that?
Could she have reached out for me? Could she have reached out for me?
So you're saying that she would have reached out and scratched you in the neck?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm just asking you, could that be a possibility of what that would be? Because I told you I didn't have them going into the accident. I told you that.
Okay.
Not lying there. I did not have us going into the accident. I told you that. I'm trying to figure out how I could have got them. Is what I'm trying to figure out. What scenario could have got me them? Could she? And I don't.
You're grasping at straws.
I'm not. And that's what I told you. You're going to tell me I was doing it.
You are.
Come on, buddy. Let's be realistic here.
I'm trying to be realistic with you.
And I told you that's what you're going to say, and that's why I'm not going to say it. I can't. I mean,
You're trying to, when this happened, did this happen? When,
okay.
So the same questions that everybody else could be wanting answers for.
I understand that. So who would I have to help me to? I mean, I don't want.
We're here to help you.
I understand that. I just told you that I was giving you a scenario as to what maybe could have happened. And I was telling you that I don't want you to say that, and then you come and say, oh, you're asking the stuff.
That's what you were. And you know that too.
I'm trying to make this scene go together as well as you guys are.
How about the fact when you had your hands around her neck that she was grasping and scratching your neck? She scratched your chest when you had that argument at home before you got in the car. Or when you were in the car.
We did not. I did not put my.
Am I grasping at straws now, or does that sound more like it could be a more probable explanation?
No, it doesn't.
No?
No. No.
She's got 3 deep cuts in the back of her head and a broken skull back there.
Shattered
All the
skull.
way
From where? From how?
an impact from the back. Multiple.
From what? What? I don't get it.
From somebody hitting her with an object, slamming her head against the garage floor.
Well, we'll see what that comes back at.
I was trying to help you explain it.
I understand.
We want the answer as much as you have them.
I understand that.
The injuries to the back of the head. The injuries to the neck. The injuries to the leg. The injuries on her body are not consistent. Did not happen in the manner in which you are telling us. There's too many planes of injury. The doctors look at it and say, doctors, no way. Tell us how it happened. This is how they do, when they go do examinations like this, tell us the mechanism of injury. So we tell them the mechanism of injury as you told us the mechanism of injury happened. They go on, they do everything. They said there's absolutely not, did not happen. No way it could have happened. There's too many planes of injury that it occurred on. This was something that was much different than that explanation. She didn't bang her head anywhere or anything like that. No. There is injuries to the back of her head. There are injuries to the front of her head, the side of her head. Injuries to her neck. Those are all things that could not have happened with a pipe coming through the windshield. And that pipe going through the windshield would have kept right on going through the windshield and through the back of the car. It would have been sticking out of the window. So you got a pipe, I told you I saw the video of the pipe that came through sideways at 35 miles per hour coming onto an on-ramp that went completely through, sideways through a windshield. This is a 53-inch pipe that weighs, I don't know exactly what the weight is, but it's not light by any means. You're saying you can't remember pulling it out of the windshield. I don't think somebody could have pulled it out of a windshield with one hand.
I think when your adrenaline is going, I think you can do a lot of stuff.
That is true. It's very true. But she's already leaned forward out of the car, coming out of the car, so the pipe's really not in the way, according to, you can't remember exactly where it is, but if she's already falling out of the car, the pipe's not really impeding her to get her out of the car. Because when the door opened the door, she was coming towards you. So that pipe's, according to you, when she's falling forward, is really not a factor in being in the way. The door is coming close because you're sitting at an angle. That makes sense. But you're standing there. That doesn't make much sense.
I suppose really glad we hit her once in the head and not even having this conversation.
So when will they be done with that at my house?
I don't know. I just want...
We've been talking to you, so we don't have that.
What's that?
I said, we've been talking to
We're
you,
not
so we don't
there,
have
so we
that.
can't tell what they got to do or what they have left or whatever else we have. But we want to try to explain the multiple injuries that occurred at Barbara, and we're not at that stage yet. We're still, and the only person that's going to be able to tell us that is going to be you. I'm firmly convinced that, well, I know that the injuries, all those injuries didn't happen as you said them, and you know that too.
She didn't have them when she left the house.
You know that too.
She didn't have them when she left the house.
Okay, and at what point did she get them?
It had to be there.
It wasn't there. You know that. It can't happen.
Well,
It can't happen.
I can understand that. We can see it can't happen, but
These doctors are very, very good. The doctor in Madison is a fantastic forensic pathologist. There's no way those injuries are caused as your explanation. It didn't happen in the house. They happened someplace other than at a pipe hitting her in the head. They happened someplace else. The broken bone in the throat. There's marks and bruising around her neck. How do you explain that? There's bruising that goes from here and here, and there's all kinds of petechia right in here.
I told you how I didn't know how I got her out of the car.
Yeah, and that's
I don't know.
That's not. If you grabbed her, that's not gonna be enough force to do it. It's gonna take a force it's gonna take an extended force to cause the petechia around the injury there to break the bone in the throat. It's gonna take a steady force. It wasn't by you pulling her out of the car and not nicely or however you put it. That's not. It's not consistent. We know it's not consistent with this, what you're telling us. It's not. I think you can see that it's not. There's no possible way that all those injuries, those different planes of her body, different planes of her upper body, could have occurred by that one. You can't, explain 3 large gashes in the back of the head with a cracked skull. Or a pipe coming through the windshield. Nope. It didn't happen. Broken nose. If it would have been the pipe hit her in the nose, it would have cut her nose, her nose isn't cut, it's broken. The bruising through her lips, like they're pressed onto her teeth some way, either with a punch or another way. Multiple ways that can happen. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen with a mug. Not with that, because it's consistent around. It's not. The cut on her forehead. You know it's not how it happened.
I'm not going to tell you. I can't tell you again.
You can tell me.
I'm telling you guys what I know.
You're not telling us all the truth.
I'm telling you all the truth.
All we need is you to tell us the truth.
I understand that.
Tell us what happened. Tell us how this occurred.
I told you what I can tell you. I mean, let's wait for them to come back and see what they
I
find.
don't think you told us what you.
Let's let them come back. You're going to see that they're not going to find anything.
You have a lot of reasons for sticking to your story, I understand that.
But tell me what reason I would have to do this to my wife. That's what I don't understand.
Something popped up, a jealousy
nothing
rage,
that
something
popped
there's okay. The story that when we deal with these kind of things, there's all kinds of things that we see that become problems between a married couple. You know what they are. There's all kinds of things. And to get through to all the different things that we're going through, we're gonna find things. If we're gonna, we're gonna go through everything.
Yep.
Phones, computers, everything we
We'll
can.
do it all.
Everything. Her phone, photographs. Talk to her friends. Talk to your friends.
Yep.
And that's, like you said, we got great friends. You got all
Yep.
kinds. Of,
And
never
you
said
can,
anything.
and I encourage you guys to go through all
We're
of it.
gonna do everything.
I understand that, and I'm not going to hide one thing from you guys. If there's anything that,
I think, in my opinion, that you're hiding one thing, and that's how all these injuries happen.
no,
The story doesn't add up, and you know it
I
doesn't.
know it doesn't add up.
You know it doesn't add up, right?
And there are some things that I can't explain.
You know that this story about the pipe going through the windshield doesn't add up.
I'm not, that is what happened to my wife.
You know that all those, and okay, the pipe went through, but you know that didn't.
I did not do them to my wife.
Tell me how. Tell me. Give me something that.
I was with my wife that whole morning. I got up with her at
I
6:30.
believe you were.
And I
believe you were. And you
I
were
did
the whole
not
time.
do any of that to my wife.
How did all these injuries occur?
Right.
It didn't happen this way. Those doctors are incredible at what they do, and they know it didn't happen with the pipe. Something happened, Todd. We gotta get through that barrier and explain how some of these things happened prior to, whether it was prior to leaving the house or in the car or when, you said it didn't happen at the house. Okay, well, it happened someplace and it didn't happen. It didn't happen right there. There. That is not where that occurred. It occurred someplace else. You tell us where that was, because it's not that. You know it. You're certain that it didn't. You know for a fact that did not happen by a pipe coming through the window. You know that. You're agreeing with me. You're shaking your head.
I'm agreeing with you that I've told you everything that I know. And I did not do anything to hurt my wife at all.
How did the injuries occur?
I have no idea.
You do.
Did something happen accidentally?
No.
Something you didn't?
This right here.
What
This accident.
The accident happened?
Nothing, there's actually nothing self-inflicted or absolutely not.
Nothing that you did that you didn't really intend to do?
No. Absolutely not. I would not, never, why would you want a main road?
Do you know what terminal velocity is?
No.
Terminal velocity is the rate at which things fall. Mass times drag times gravity. So if I have this,
No.
and it's sitting here, and it drops, that was the terminal velocity. You can calculate that. So a pipe weighing what it was with very little drag, because it's aerodynamic, so it's not drag to it, it's being affected by gravity at a certain rate. So you get mass and you can determine that. So if you're talking, even if you're talking, it's raised up from the flatbed of a truck and it comes off, rolls off, comes off, it's gonna, the rate of that speed is accelerated as gravity hits it, and it accelerates as it goes to the ground. So you're saying as a flatbed truck, don't know how high it is, it's going to roll off, and it's going to roll off the truck here, and it's going to go, it's not going to roll off and go that way. It's going to roll off and go that way. As you're coming by, that pipe, in your explanation, then rolls off, flies to the side, goes all the way to the opposite side of your vehicle, and goes through the windshield. And that's, with the laws of physics, is impossible.
I can show you right here, nothing's impossible anymore.
Where?
This accident right here that we're dealing with.
I'm saying that the accident, that pipe, as it rolls off, is going to roll and drop straight down. It's not going to continue on going that way. It's a flat road. So the theory of one, that we know that the injuries weren't caused, all those injuries weren't caused by a pipe coming through. You take that off the board. The fact that the laws of physics prevent that pipe from flying across your car because of the terminal velocity is such a thing that it can't happen. So that's two in that.
Can we do that? Can we put a piece of pipe on it?
We already realized that there's no bump in the road. You know what the terminal velocity, the velocity of that going down a road is not going to cause.
Right.
It's not going to cause.
It wouldn't have necessarily been a bump.
It's not going to, if it rolled off or bumped, there's no bump. If it rolled off, it's not going to sail. The drag with a pipe that heavy, there's not going to be much drag. It's a circular pipe. Okay, it's not going to sail. It's not going to, it's like people that think that they can jump. It's people that think they're going to jump from like a third-story level and they can make it to the pool. Well, they don't realize so they're going to jump and they realize, oh, that's 25 feet, but I should be able to fly at an angle. That's how college kids die at spring break, because they jump and they go out and they stop and they go
down
with force. This is rolling. There's not any force. Even take a little bit of speed with it, but you're not going to take much speed. It's going to go straight down. That's how those things happen. That pipe is not going to sail all the way across your vehicle. You see it came off there, and I'm coming right at you. That's what we have questions about now, right? You're following me along with it.
Yeah.
The injuries, not consistent with the pipe. The fact that a pipe went through.
And we do that all the time, so you can't use that scenario. You can ask any of my kids, I'm a last minute.
You didn't finish what I didn't finish. You didn't let me finish it.
Okay, sorry.
You're a last minute procrastinator packer. That's fine. So now, after a month of not talking to a guy that said he had a windshield for you to fix, which he disputes, he doesn't corroborate that with your story. You're going to go driving on a morning that your wife's got to be at school by 8:30. You're going to drive somewhere, unknown location, to find a Ford pickup truck that should have the keys in it, and pick that up and drive it back to your house to fix after a month of not having any contact with this person. After you went up looking for it the night before up through Holman, but you didn't stop at his house because he said he wasn't home. How did you know he wasn't home?
He works nights.
Okay. He was working nights that night?
Well, I think unless he went back he gave up maintainer now, so maybe he went back to another crew.
He was on vacation.
So
his first day back was Tuesday.
He gave up maintainer, so I don't know if it was vacation or if it was a transaction.
So he wasn't working nights, but you didn't know that.
I wasn't sure.
You didn't know that. She didn't know if he was home or not.
I wasn't sure.
No, but you didn't stop by after going to look for this truck that he wants you to fix the windshield on. Driving up through Holman, you didn't bother to go up to his house to ask him maybe where it was or anything like that. You were just going to, on your own, willy-nilly drive around Holman.
And we take drives all the time.
Absolutely, people take drives all the time. But you're telling us that you're going there to pick up this pickup truck so you can change it because your wife's been on you about the windshield in the garage. That's 3 now, right? Okay, three things that were. Okay. Oh yeah, you count that one because he disputes the fact that you can do any work for him at all.
Okay.
The only work you're going to do has been May.
Okay.
It was out of buddies.
Okay.
And this is a 250. What's a 250? The F-250. What are those called?
Super Duty.
Okay. So you're going to do this work on this buddy, but you're not going to call him. You're going to go and Friday morning, you're just going to go to the top of Shufflebine Hill and see if you see a pickup truck in somebody's driveway. A Ford F-250 pickup truck in somebody's driveway. If you didn't, you're just going to take your wife back to your wife is not wearing jeans on a Friday like they normally always wear. She's wearing something else. So you're going to take her directly to there. Okay. Now we're looking at minimum of 4 things now. We're looking.
And
You dispute any of those?
And I don't dress my wife.
I didn't say
So
that.
how she dressed for work Friday was,
You had nothing to do with that.
You know?
Absolutely nothing to do with that.
because if I dressed her, it
Yep.
would be,
Yep, nothing to do with it. You don't,
Yep.
that's her deal.
Yep.
And she knows she's going to work on a Friday, and she's going to put the jeans on like she normally would.
yeah.
4. You're not sure how those injuries happen on your neck. We don't have an explanation for that. We have your explanation to injuries on your hand as caused by the windshield. It should be the left hand corner. There's blood on the outside of the windshield. We can't explain that. Help us try to understand how this all happened.
I can talk here until I'm blue in the face. I told you guys,
Not until you're ready to tell us what happened.
I'm telling you everything that I know about this. See, this.
You can even know one detail.
No, I'm not.
Just one. You're gonna go camping that one. That's the other one. You're gonna go camping that weekend. But now I was gonna drive them up there, and I was gonna come back because we were late for work that night.
I wasn't gonna be late for work.
Yes, you were.
I was gonna call into work.
Oh, you're gonna call in sick. After they gave you the opportunity to take a day to switch to night shift, after they told you that you could do that, you're gonna take a sicker instead of taking the day that they're gonna give you. Help us understand, Todd.
I can't help you anymore.
You won't help us.
I will help you.
You can help us. You can help us explain all of this. You don't want to, but
I want to.
then tell
I
us.
am.
Then tell us.
I can't tell you anymore. I can't tell you anymore.
Significant injury to the back of the head. Significant, and it wasn't just one hit.
I did not do that.
What happened?
I didn't.
What happened?
I was driving the car.
What happened?
Sir, I can't. I will. And I am.
Then do.
I am. I'm telling you what I can tell you. I'm telling you what I can tell you.
Why don't you tell us what happened?
Maybe when you see what they didn't find it at the house and like that, like.
Then you'll tell us?
No, there's nothing I can tell you. I'm telling you everything that I can tell you about this.
I don't think you are.
Mom,
I know you're not.
I am.
You're not.
I am.
That's for real. See. We need your help to explain this, Todd. This wasn't an accident. Like I told you numerous times, it wasn't an accident caused by a pipe going through the window. Something happened, and it was uncharacteristic of yourself. You're not a violent person. You're not. There's something that occurred. You don't argue. You don't lose your cool. There's something occurred that caused this.
There's absolutely nothing that occurred there.
Well, there is something that occurred that caused this, and it wasn't that accident. It wasn't that accident. You understand that. You told me that you know that those injuries could not have, all those different injuries could not have occurred as explained. The doctor told us that. I explained that to you. You sat there and shook your head. Yep. You mean the doctor?
And I don't know.
There's no way.
I don't know how the scenario of everything went. I don't know.
It was as far as?
I mean, if there could have been, I mean, there's, you know, I don't know what happened there, how it happened. I do not know how
You're telling me how it happened. You told your
I don't know how those injuries occurred as they did.
And neither do I.
Right. And how do we find out?
I'm telling you, the story that you're giving us is not how they occurred. All those injuries did not occur with that pipe going through that windshield. I know that for a fact. That I know for a fact. That I'm positive about. That you know they didn't. After that, you know that didn't happen that way.
So when do they get their results from what they're doing?
They're working on them as we speak.
Okay.
They're still working on them.
Okay.
They've got all that stuff going on. You know that didn't happen that way. You know that there was injuries, could not have happened with a pipe. There's no question in my mind, in your mind, that here, 3 to the back of the head, here to the crushing of with marks around the neck, bruising around the neck, and fractured bone. Those didn't happen with that coming through that windshield. The velocity of that thing, if you're saying as it is, would have gone, would have hit your wife in the head, it would have gone right through. If that's what you're saying, and we know that that's not possible.
So, I gotta wait here until they get that done?
You can leave. You can leave any time you want. I told you that before.
I want to work with you guys, but I don't want to sit here and
Well,
go like this.
I just want to figure out what happened.
And so do I. And so do I.
That's a part of the process. I know that you know.
If I knew, I would say something.
Really?
Yes.
You would?
I would tell you if I knew what happened to my wife.
You know what happened to your wife?
I do not know how the injuries happened.
It didn't happen there, and you said you knew that, or you shook your head going, yeah, I agree with you.
I didn't agree with you.
You're just
I
shaking
said
your head.
it's very unlikely. Now,
Doctors are not just saying unlikely.
you know, have stranger things happened? They have. Stranger things have happened.
Okay, so
And
this is a stranger thing that happened. I don't want to say, I don't want to accuse you of grasping at straws, but try to explain then how can all these different injuries happen with a pipe coming through, supposedly coming through a windshield? They can't. Stranger things cannot, there's no explanation for it. There's zero explanation for that there's 3 lacerations in the back of the head with cracked skull. There's injuries all over the front of the face, including the neck, with 2-inch pipes going through the windshield and hitting her. At the speeds that you're saying, you know what that result was. Something happened, you know where it happened, you know when it happened, you're not telling us. You say it didn't happen at the house, you're adamant it didn't happen.
Just some other questions that came up. You said you owed about $150,000.
Yeah, I think they're on that.
Okay. They found some bills out at the house? Around 50 to 60,000.
That's the home. That's their home mortgage, right?
That sounds like it was contractor bills or something like that. Maybe some contractors you use for these flips.
Oh no, the only contract I have is LA Electric.
Okay.
Everything else is all paid.
So what are these bills?
I don't know where they got them from.
Are they paid?
The only one that's not paid is contractor supply. Or no, LA Electric, I mean.
And
he just got that. That was an addition they did after the sale. It was $4,000.
Okay. So it's after the sale, you don't owe $50,000 to contractors?
No, that's all paid. Well, the other contractors is something. I just got some shingles. We built their house.
Okay.
I just got them. It was like $1,100 or something. No, that's all paid.
Okay. The other question I guess I put together at the time was that, and correct me if I'm wrong, you said the two of you are traveling to pick up this truck, and if it was there, you were going to jump in that truck, bring it back to the house, and that your wife was going to help you fix it.
She helped me set it when she was home
Help
from
you
work,
set it, okay.
which is 15 minutes after work.
Was
I prepped it ready. When she gets home, we set it, and it's probably 15 minutes, and it's done.
Okay,
And that's how we were going to pay for the camping for the Warren's Cranberry Festival.
okay. So I guess I'm trying to figure out why do it the day before you're leaving when you had a month to do it
I didn't have. I just
and hold up your trip?
because we weren't in a
After
hurry because of
school.
the rain and stuff to get going with the trip. We weren't in a hurry to get going with this trip.
Doesn't that clue have to set though before it's driven in the rain?
I wouldn't have took it back. They'll come get them.
You
We do
left
them at
it
the house, and they come and get them.
Okay,
We don't usually take them back.
okay. Is
So
there
you're
a
not-
reason you need to pick it up and not take it back?
Send them 2 trips back.
Okay.
Which is why
Does
we
that
do
make
it.
sense to you? I mean,
That's how I've always done it.
it's the day you're going to leave for a weekend.
If you ask anybody,
with the family.
I'm a procrastinator that way.
Okay,
I'll try to get 10 things done the last day before we do something. Every time, all the time.
okay.
Like
And
you
try
can
your wife up to getting ready and you getting all the supplies together and,
Most of my stuff is ready, just the house stuff is what's got to go in at the end.
okay, all right. Just to let you know, we did check the video. You're from the bank that's right at 16 and M there.
So,
For obviously time frame well before and well after, and there's only 2 trucks that were there. They were both white.
no,
We
it's not
contract.
white.
It's not white at all.
No, I know for a fact it wasn't white.
Okay,
I know for a fact it wasn't a white truck.
okay. Is there any way you could explain why it wouldn't have come through?
Osmus Road, maybe?
Okay,
Across Osmus to go to Medora or up C over that way, Or could have took Moose Road.
it's just a
I-
culmination of things that
I understand
certainly don't
that.
look good.
I know, I understand that.
Okay.
I shouldn't, are my kids out here or where are they?
I'm not sure. I didn't ask him that.
Can I call them real quick or no?
He knows what's going on
Jordan does?
because he was out at the house when they did the search warrant. So yeah.
Okay,
I'm sure he knows.
okay, just so they know what's going on, that's my biggest thing.
I did get an impression. So,
Okay, and that's probably why he's calling me so much.
we're not. We could sit here and pound through it with you every time, but if you're just going to let the evidence speak for it, you're not the first guy that maybe doesn't want to come forward. But people are going to want answers. It's not about me and Investigator Leinfelder are just hammering you with questions in the hope that we get some trophy at the end of the day that has nothing to do with it.
Right,
What's going to happen is family's going to want to know, friends are going to want to know, and if they find out all this stuff, they're going to say what happened to Todd.
right.
You had mentioned that you're going to do this windshield to help pay for camping for the weekend?
That's, we do a lot of this little trinket stuff like that, for stuff like that.
Okay, for the windshield and that. Is
I
that
just had that conversation.
oh, you did? I mean, okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to fix the windshield and then how are you going to get paid?
Who needs the money there? They leave it in the garage.
How much was it going to cost? What did you?
$240.
240. That was already negotiated with who?
Justin.
Well, that was way back when, but
When did you? And you ordered the windshield.
I've had the windshield there for, I'm sure there's a date on it. That's the one I got it. Usually there's a date on it, I think.
And then you said that was August, a month ago.
No. I have to go back and look and see when it's been there for a long time. I don't remember for sure. We moved it from one garage to the other garage. And I don't remember for sure. I don't remember for sure.
When did you move it?
Oh,
Such a clean recently?
yeah. Well, my wife cleans. She cleans the garage that's attached to the house all the time. I don't remember when. It's been. I don't know when I moved it. I don't remember. It's been a while.
But you had it there a month, so you obviously...
At least a month.
Last month.
Yeah.
Okay. And where did you buy it from?
Last on Wheels is where I get my windshield.
Last on Wheels, so they'd have a record of it.
I'm sure it would. I bought it from him.
Who would have, you said you would have, they would have picked it up at your house. Who would have picked it up at your house?
The person that owned the truck.
How would they know to do that?
I would have contacted Justin and had Justin square up with him, and I've never done.
But Justin, I'm confused.
Okay, let me explain Justin
I'm
to you.
confused. Justin had a conversation with you in May, said, hey, I got a buddy that needs a windshield repaired, and you said, I've got one. They wait a while, according to Justin. His buddy says, hey, Justin contacts you, you say, that one's gone. Justin said, okay, never had another conversation with you about it.
Right.
Ever.
And
So that's May, June-ish. In August, you order a windshield for Justin's buddy. You don't know who it is.
and it may have been well before August. I'm just throwing that date out. I've had it for a while.
Okay.
I don't.
No negotiations with Justin other than when it started out and he called you and said you sold the one that you had. Justin said, okay. No negotiations about, could you get me another one? The price is this, anything else. You reorder one sometime later. Don't contact Justin at all regarding about it. Nothing. You don't know who owns the car. You don't know any of that. Correct?
No, I don't.
You don't know where he lives.
Which is a lot of jobs I do.
You don't know where he lives. You don't know what his name is.
Got an idea, but that's it. Yeah. And that's a lot of jobs.
And then
I do.
Justin, you're going to fix it off a truck that you may see someplace along the road. You're going to take that truck from wherever, take it to your house, fix the windshield, call Justin, and then that guy's going to come pick the truck up at your house and leave you money. Where?
I got a deck box. That leave it in.
All in time for you to make this trip for the weekend.
No, we would have had the
You said
money
you
when we got
need the
back.
money to spend.
We would have had the money when we got back. What's the goal? We only go for the weekend and then come back.
Do you owe any money to an excavation company?
Bill Hyder,
Yeah. Still do?
Mm.
How much?
$4,000.
From when?
January or something. But we work together with that.
He's fine sending a bill in June and still being out
Yeah.
in September.
Yep.
He's fine with that.
Yep. I just talked to him. We're out for fish here a month ago or so, and I just talked to him and told him I'd be getting squared up with him, and he does a lot of excavating and stuff for us.
We get you some of your construction stuff from Menards.
Yep.
Do you have a Menards card, or how does that work? A charge count?
I have a Menards card.
Okay. How much is on that?
Probably $4,500, $4,000.
Is there any other bills that you have outstanding right now that are in the thousands? Do you have a Sears account?
I have a Sears and a Visa account.
What's the Sears at?
$3,000, I think.
Okay. What's your account for Allied? Is it Allied Electric?
Yeah. I just got that. I've been fighting with him to get that. I just got that.
You know what that is?
What? How much it is? 6,000. But I got. I think 12,000 in my account for the. I got 12,000 in my account for. I had 22,000 in there, and I went and got some of this stuff started for Barb. I took some of that out
So you had 22,000 in an account,
in my checking account for my house.
right? And then were you told, what do you say, the arrangements and stuff like that?
Yeah,
So you wrote checks for those, or?
I got a money order for some of it,
Okay.
and then I got cash for some of it.
How much of each?
5,000.
5,000 money order, 5,000 cash.
Yep. Yep, because they said they couldn't order her stone until we paid half down. And so we're going to get the kids down there.
The investigation is ongoing, as you know. There's a lot of things that they're going to come back with that now is the time to get out in front of them. You had the opportunity to do that. You're saying that you can't. I think that you won't right now. But there's going to be things that are coming out through the course of this investigation.
And how,
There's a lot of the things that are in the course of this investigation right now that, as I went through like 5 different things with you of what you said happened to can't happen. I remember I explained all of it.
okay, and
You're gonna.
And for you to use that and say that I said they can't happen.
I'll give that. That's not that you didn't agree that they can't happen. I'm saying that they can't happen. I'm not saying that you agreed with me and said that they can't. Yeah, I agree with you. They can't happen. I'm not saying that at all.
Right.
So that you don't have to explain that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling you, that there's so many things from Justin.
Yeah.
The Justin story, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, and that's the only thing.
It's not the only thing.
Well, but
That's not the only thing.
Okay.
That is not the only thing.
Okay.
The fact that there's, I mean, again, I don't have to go through with you anymore.
Right.
You know.
Yep.
I don't know if Mark explained to you or not, but we have a search warrant to get your DNA.
Okay.
All it is us taking a swab of the
You don't
inside.
need search warrants for this stuff.
Well, that's how in these type of situations, that's what we do. We could ask for consent. We had it. If you want to give it as consent, that's fine. But it's just a swab of the inside of your mouth, and that gets sent in, so we have your DNA on file.
Pretty
Do
bad,
you have any gum?
Yeah.
You want to just spit your gum over there?
So do they completely destroy my house, or do they put it back together somewhat?
I don't think they're going to completely destroy it.
Okay. I mean,
No, they're not tearing walls off, if that's what you mean.
I mean, like, or, you know, I mean, I just want to go home and they got everything just strudel all over.
And like I said, we're here, so I don't
Right.
assume that it's...
Okay. And I'm fine they're there. They wouldn't need a search warrant to come in. I'm 100%.
Well, sometimes we don't get that kind of cooperation, so.
I
So that's
suppose.
if we go ahead and we get all of our search warrants and papers in order. If we need them, we need them.
Okay.
If we don't have them, that's just...
Yeah.
That's,
Do you need to look at my other vehicle I got out here or no?
Where's it out?
What's
In the
that?
parking lot?
Yeah. Well, no, it's out now.
Whose is it?
Yeah, it's across the street.
It's yours or your son's?
Mine. It's our Tahoe.
Okay. You show me, you got nothing in there? Okay. I'm just swab the inside of your cheek, okay? No pain, just.
Yeah. there anything you want to tell us that you haven't told us?
No, there's not.
Is there anything you're going to tell us that you haven't told us?
No, there's not. Let's go through and.
That's what's happening.
Yeah, I know it.
And I can tell you right now, what those doctors in Madison were saying is that that's not it. That's not it at all.
Well, I'm going to stand to my word until. I mean, I'm going to.
Until when?
Until
Until you can't stand anymore, until you're back in the corner?
No.
Now's the time to get it out.
And I'll be in the corner then.
It's tough.
I'll stand in the corner then. I mean, I'll get out of the corner. I'm.
Truth releases you.
I know it does. I know it does. I know it does. And I have nothing I'm lying about. Nothing.
Maybe lie of omission is about it.
Is it what?
Lie of omission, possibly.
What's that mean?
By not telling us what you have, but you know.
If I knew more, I would tell it to you.
I wish that was true.
And you don't know me very well, so you can say that.
I wish it was true.
I really, and I know under the circumstances what it is, but.
Well, the circumstances are one thing, and then your explanation is a completely other thing, which is completely far-fetched, unbelievable, as you can possibly imagine. No one of her right mind is going to buy that story that you just told.
I can't help it. I can't.
After the fact, you have an explanation for things that you told before. That no, I meant this was this.
I didn't change nothing.
You added other things to it. Well, I didn't say I was going camping all weekend. You go out all the time. I just switched that. You didn't know that we knew that we checked with your work that you're supposed to work at 6:30 at night. You didn't know that we talked to Justin and Justin said I haven't talked to him about a windshield and
if that is stuff that I was going to be worried about, don't you think I would have called them and said, hey, what's going on, or here's what's what?
No, you know better than that.
No, I don't. I don't plan. I don't do this stuff.
Obviously you didn't plan because this is
I don't do
living
this
in our life
stuff.
right now.
I don't.
Something happened that you're not telling us.
Okay.
You
I
know what the
appreciate
injuries-
your time.
You know the injuries are what they are. They didn't occur as you said them. You're the only one that was there. You're the only one that knows.
I am Barb.
And you know everything. Yeah, and Barb, we can't ask Barb now, can
No,
we?
we can't.
We can't ask Barb. We can ask you. And you're the only one that's going to be able to tell us. In her memory, you're the only one that's going to be able to tell us.
Yeah.
Someday you're going to. I think you're going to. It's going to fester and rot. You're not going to be. You're going to tell us what happened on the road. There was an accident that happened prior to that between you and Barb. Things got out of hand, and things shouldn't have happened that happened, but they happened, and that's what it is.
I would never, I don't care what the explanation was, hurt my wife or anybody for that reason, especially in that manner.
Something happened. Something triggered it. You said you don't snap, but something happened.
So you're going to let me know where the next step goes or what?
If you want to know, all you got to do is call.
So I can call anytime and see what's...
You bet.
Do you have a card?
I'll get you one before I leave here.
Okay.
I just want to make sure you got the opportunity to let us know if there's anything that you haven't told us.
There's nothing.
There's your copy here, Todd. Card. DNA sample.
Oh, I don't need this. Okay. I mean, should I keep this or?
Keep it if you want to.
So now I just wait for them to get the search warrant back and
Yeah, I think.
I mean, not the search warrant, but what they...
They have to finish up out there, and they'd rather just get it done. But they have any interruptions. Yeah.
Right, okay. So I'll call the kids and find out where they've been calling, so I'll find out where they are, and we'll just wait until... so how will we know when they're done? What do I do there?
How about I call you? Can we call you on the phone?
Yeah, on this one.
Why don't you give me the number? I know I jotted it down somewhere, but.
790-5347.
Okay. You allow it for a while?
Yeah, just for a little while.
Okay. All right. Do you have any questions? All right.
No, I don't.
Just make sure he's down here and you want to head out then?
If he's done, yeah.
Fritz?